Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mihir Shah once again with another video. In this video, we are going to learn how to solve problem sums based on ratio analysis under the chapter Fundamental Analysis, okay, under the subject SAPM. Again, a very important topic for all the students who are going to appear for Sem 6. Now, under this video, we are going to take a few problem sums, okay, common type of problem sum which usually keeps coming in the paper. And thereafter, at the end of the video, I'll be giving you all the list of all the various ratios which can be there and which you'll have to learn from the exam point of view. Okay, chalo. So with that, we will start this video here. Okay, now let us see how can we solve sum based on ratio analysis under the chapter Fundamental Analysis. Now, before starting to solve, okay, let me just give you all a brief about this particular topic. Now, in ratio analysis, there are a lot of ratios that needs to be learned. Now, this chapter has different types of ratios. So there is no basic fixed format what kind of sum can usually come. Okay, so it's only based on your formulas. You need to learn various formulas, and based on the formulas you need to substitute the value and get the answer. But now, looking at past couple of years ka paper, okay, I've picked out two types of sum. We'll be doing a pattern of sum, okay, two sums which will have a pattern which was there in the previous papers. Okay, so we'll be taking up two sums which will be similar based on how the sums have come in previous papers. And thereafter, okay, I'll be noting down all the different types of formulas that you need to learn under ratio analysis. I'll note down the list, so you all can take a screenshot of those and you all can note it down in a book and learn over it. So basically it's what all the data is usually there in the question. You just have to get those values and substitute into the formula. Okay, so now first what you're going to do is we're going to solve two sums which are very peculiar from the exam point of view. So let us see how to solve those two sums first. Okay, now the first question says that following are the details of two companies, company A Limited and B Limited. They are given as equity shares, 12% preference shares, profit before tax, tax rate, dividend per share and market price per share. So these are the various details which are given. After that, they are given you calculate earning per share, PE ratio, that is price per earning ratio, dividend payout ratio, return on proprietary fund. These are the four things they are asked us to calculate and find the answers for. Now let us see one by one. First they ask us to find is earning per share. Now earning per share ka formula is EAT, that is earning after tax, also known as profit after tax, less PD stands for preference dividend. Now in this sum I'm taking the abbreviation, but the the entire full form of those are already noted down. So once I finish those two sums, okay, then I will be putting out kind of a slideshow, you can say, where I have jotted down all the various formulas, okay, which are again very important for your exam point of view. Now earning per share is earning after tax minus preference dividend upon the number of shares. So now let us see how we can solve. We need to solve for A Limited and for B Limited. Okay, so now let us see. First of all, in order to find the EPS of A Limited, I need to first find earning after tax. Now remember, in our question they are giving you profit before tax, or we can say earning before tax. Now we needed earning after tax. So remember one thing, in order to find EAT, it will be nothing but earning before tax, which was 400 lakhs, less, I need after tax, so I'll have to minus the tax rate, so it will be less 30%. So 400 minus 30%, we will get the value as 280. So our earning per share ka earning after tax is 280 for A Limited, less preference dividend. Now preference dividend means dividend which is earned on preference share. I can see 12% preference share written here, meaning this is the rate of dividend. So 12% of the value of preference share, that is 100. So preference dividend, so I'll just note down here, PD is 100 into 12%, which comes to 12. So our preference dividend is 12 divided by the number of shares. Now, number of shares is nothing but number of equity shares. So equity share, in order to find the number, very simple. The total value divided by the face value will get the number. So 800 lakhs divided by 10. So I'll take it as we are taking in the form of numbers in lakhs as the entire sum. So it will be 800 divided by 10. So that comes to 80. So 280 minus 12 divided by 80. That will be our earning per share of A Limited. So that comes to approximately rupees 3.35 per share. Okay, so my earning per share is rupees 3.35 for A Limited. Now similarly we'll have to find for B Limited. So again I'll just note down the formula. EPS is equal to, first I need to find earning after tax. So earning after tax will be before tax, that was 600, less tax percent, which was 30%. So it will be 600 minus 30%, so our value will be approximately 420. So our earning after tax is 420 less preference dividend. Now preference dividend, again it will be 12% of the value, so it will be 200 into 12%, which comes to 24. So minus 24 divided by the number of shares. So 1000 divided by 10 comes to 100. So our earning per share for B Limited will be 420 minus 24 divided by 100, which will come to rupees 3.96 per share. So our earning per share is rupees 3.96 for B Limited. Okay, so that was the first formula we have completed, that is earning per share. Next is they have asked us to find is PE ratio, that is price earning ratio, which is market price of the share divided by earning per share. So again, we note down the formula. We note down the name of the two companies. We have A Limited and B Limited. Okay, now very simple. We have already found one part of that sum. So see how we need to find PE ratio. So PE ratio is equal to market price per share. Now here's given market price per share of A Limited is 150. So it will be 150 divided by earning per share of A Limited. We already found that in the first formula, which is 3.35. So 150 divided by 3.35, we will get the value approximately 44.78 times. So it is in times always. Okay, so our PE ratio for A Limited is 44.78 times. Similarly for B, we have to, again it will be PE ratio is equal to market price of the share was 120 divided by the EPS of B Limited was 3.96. Okay, Achha, one more thing which we missed out here was this whole thing is into 100. Okay, no, this is not 100. It's just as it is. Okay, because we already got it in time. Because if it is in percentage, it will be in percent form then. So 120 divided by 3.96, value will come to 3.30. Okay, 3.30. It will be 30.30. Okay, so 30.30 times is the answer for P ratio for B Limited. So very simple. It was market price, which is there in the question, EPS, which we have already found. The next is, that was the first and the second formula. Third, what they've asked us to find. So this was my first, this was the second. My third one is dividend payout ratio. The formula is DPS, that is dividend per share, upon EPS, that is earning per share, into 100. Now this is into 100. So now here I write it as A Limited and this is B Limited. Now, first of all, we need to find dividend per share. Okay, we need to find DPS and for A Limited and for B Limited. So first, before starting anything, we need to first get the value of DPS. Now, if you look in the question very carefully, I can see here something written as dividend per share. So we already have DPS given in the question. So for A Limited, the dividend payout ratio is equal to dividend per share, which is rupees 3, upon earning per share, that is 3.35 into 100. So when you divide and multiply, your dividend payout ratio, we call it as DPR, will be equal to approximately 89.55%. Same way we go, we solve it for B Limited also, so it will be dividend payout ratio is equal to dividend per share for the B Limited is rupees 2 divided by the earning per share, that is 3.96 into 100. So again, when you divide, multiply, your answer should have been approximately 50.50%. So if you see very carefully, we are not doing anything great. Okay, we are just using the formula and substituting the value from the question and whatever they have given us. Okay, so we have done with the third one. Last, we need to find return on proprietor's fund Okay, now return on proprietor fund is also known as return on capital employed, the formula for which is EBIT upon total capital employed. Okay, so something new now this is. So A Limited, B Limited. Now, in order to find the return on proprietary fund for the first one, or capital employed for A Limited, earning before interest and tax. Okay, very important. We need to first get the value EBIT. Now I can see, we can already see a profit before the tax, meaning that is profit before the value of interest and tax which is given. And since there is no debentures, no debt fund, so there is no interest that can be calculated. Okay, so we consider that as an EBIT, which is 400 upon total capital employed. Now what is total capital employed? Total capital employed is nothing but all your reserves and surplus, all your capital fund and all your borrowed fund together. So I have equity share, I have preference share, and I have reserve and surplus in the form of profit and the profits. So now what happened here is, when you add up, okay, now they were asked you to find the total capital employed. So when you add up all your So how we'll do it, equity share is 800. So we'll note down here this as 800 plus preference share of 100 plus reserves and surplus of rupees 100 into 100. So now here, okay, now this is also into 100. Okay, so here I have not mentioned here, so it is into 100. So it will be 400 divided by 1000. So that comes up to, so I'm taking it on the calci, 400 divided by 1000 into 100. So that comes to 40%. So our return on capital employed or return on proprietary fund for A Limited is 40%. Similarly, we need to find for B Limited. So now B Limited profit before interest and tax is 600 upon 1000 is equity share, 200 is preference, and profit is, okay, my bad, the profit is 400 for A Limited. Okay, so this will be 400. So here it becomes 400 plus, sorry, divided by 8 plus 1 9 plus 4 is 1300. So it will be 1300 into 100. So that comes to 30.76%. Okay, so we will change this value here. It will be 30.77%. Okay, and not 40% because I missed out. It's 1000. It's 400. I've taken that at 100. Similarly, here it will be 1000 plus 200 plus 600 into 100. So now this comes to 1000 plus 200 is 1200 plus 600 is 1800. So it will be 600 divided by 1800 into 100. So that comes to 33.33%. Okay, so this is how the sum was supposed to be solved. So it's very simple. You just need to note down the formulas. Okay, substitute the value from the question, post it here, and just divide, multiply, add according to the formula, and you will be getting the answers. So this is one of the sums, okay, which as per the paper pattern which has been there throughout Okay, this is one of the kind of sum which is always asked. Okay, now we'll be doing one more similar kind of sum to clarify the doubt based on, where they ask you to find earning per share, dividend payout, PE ratio, return on equity, all these kinds of formula. Okay, so now let us see how we solve the second sum based on ratio analysis. Okay, now again here we have, they are giving you detail of two companies, A Limited and B, equity, preference, profit after tax, proposed dividend and market price of the shares are given. They are asking us to find earning per share, PE ratio, dividend payout and return on equity shares. So let us start one by one. First, earning per share. First we will find for A Limited and thereafter B Limited. So earning per share of A Limited is earning after tax. Now in this sum they have already given you profit after tax. So it will be 50 minus preference dividend. Now again, in order to find preference dividend, very easy. Preference share ka value into the rate. So 80 into 12% will give you 9.6 upon number of shares. So it will be 200 divided by the face value. So it comes to 20. When you divide, you will get the value as rupees 2.02. So your earning per share of A Limited is 2.02. Similarly for B Limited, we'll have EPS is equal to earning after tax, that is 70, minus preference dividend. So that will be 100 into 12%, which comes to 12, upon the face value of the equity share or number of equity shares. So it will be the value divided by the face value. So it comes to 25. 70 minus 12 divided by 25, the value that you all should have got would have been 2.32 rupees. Okay, again we are just using the values from the question and substituting in the formula. Second, PE ratio, again for A Limited and for B Limited. So the PE ratio for A Limited will be market price of the share, that is given market price for share is given as 100, upon EPS, which you have already found, 2.02. You divide and we get the the price earning ratio, which is approximately 49.50 times. Similarly for B Limited, the PE ratio will be, the price earning ratio is the market price, which is 140, upon EPS, that is 2.32. So it will be approximately 60.34 times. Okay, you can write the whole thing in a single line, okay, because there is place constraint, so I'm taking it in that way. So that's the first and the second formula. Third is dividend payout, very important. Again, we need to calculate for A Limited as well as for B Limited. Okay, now in order to find now DPS upon EPC, dividend payout ratio is DPS, that's dividend per share. Now dividend per share is not given here. In the previous sum, dividend per share was given. So DPS is nothing but the proposed dividend, which is 35, upon the number of shares. 200 divided by 10 is 20. So that comes to 1.75. So now DPS is 1.75. EPS is 2.02 into 100. So that will come approximately 86.63%. So see, again, it is all based on formulas, okay. Similarly for B Limited, the dividend payout ratio is, I need DPS, so DPS will be dividend per share. So that is proposed dividend 40 upon the total number of shares. So it will be 250 divided by 10, which comes to 25. So which comes up to 1.6. So I use that 1.6 upon EPS, that was 2.32 into 100. So which comes approximately 68.97%. Again, we are just substituting the values from the question into our formula. Next formula was return on equity share. The formula is earning after tax minus preference dividend upon equity capital into 100. So now let us see how to calculate this. Earning after tax, they've already given us 50. Preference dividend, we have already found PD here, which was 9.6 upon total equity capital. Now equity capital here was 200 into 100. So when you subtract, divide and multiply, the value on return on equity share you would have got as 20.2%. Same way we need for B Limited. So again, earning after tax was 70 minus preference dividend, which is, now again here we have already done that, which is 12 divided by the total capital, which is 250 into 100. So you subtract, you divide, you multiply, you get your final answer as 23.2%. So with that, our second sum has also been completed. Now these are only the first two types of sum that we have done, which are on the similar line. Now this chapter has multiple types of sum. Variations are very much there. Okay. Now the only thing which I will suggest everyone is learn the formula. Once you know the formula, you just have to substitute the values. Okay. And just remember what is earning after tax, what is earning before tax. Okay, how to get the number of shares, what is dividend per share, how to get those values. Only those formulas you need to learn, because with that you can substitute and get your final answer. Okay, so with that, the two sum based on ratio analysis has been completed. Okay, now I'll be putting down all the ratios. Okay, they will be static pages. So I want you all, what you all can do is you all can take the screenshot of those formula which I'll be putting up. Okay, and later on you can just just memorize those formulas. Whatever sum appears, you can just have to substitute those values, okay, into the sum, and you can get the answer. Okay, so now I'll be putting up all the various formulas that can appear under this chapter called as ratio analysis. Okay, now one more thing. After ratio analysis or fundamental analysis, there is one very important question that appears in your exam, that is based on a 15-mark case study. Okay, I'll be uploading that video also, so see that everyone goes through that video, because that is a sure shot 15-mark case study which usually come, where you have to write about how a person, if the question will be something like, if a person asking you to invest his money, in what all avenues can you invest based on the criteria that are given in the question. Okay, so that also video will be uploaded very soon. Till then, okay, I'll be now showing you all the formula which you all need to learn under this chapter of ratio analysis.